Should be able to cobble together a good episode, especially when I bring in my surprise guest. So, I know, shocker.
Guys, do not leave. There will be a surprise guest after this.
Special guest at the end of the episode, guys, but you got to make it past the 3 minute mark.
Hey, I'm Emilio,
Hey, I'm Ryan.
and welcome to the Terminally Online Pen Pals podcast.
We're two friends that have only ever met through the internet.
Join us as we talk about our lives in this epic show.
And the show starts now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Terminally Online Pen Pals podcast, being recorded on a Saturday.
Whoa, pretty extreme recording setup here, guys. Saturday instead of a Friday?
Ryan is in a kitchen.
I am. This is my house renovation setup part 2. This
House
time around.
update.
House update again for the second time. I am once again filming the podcast here in my house.
We're at the
grandma's
boss
house.
cave, everybody. What brings us here today? Why have we been awarded this pleasure?
Well, guys, I figured I wanted to continue the trend of doing something different for recording the video version to obviously encourage more of you loyal listeners to watch on YouTube.
Also, I want to
And I
clarify
figured-
that we did not plan matching outfits today. It just happened.
We did not. We did it last episode where we wore the same shirt and everything else, and we would have been completely identical. But unfortunately, Emilio refuses to shave for the third time, and his hair keeps growing back. So, but at least I have the beard. Emilio's still.
I'm just
shaving
the
his chest
inverted
and his
Ryan
chest.
face.
But yes, everyone, I decided to do something different for the setup again, and I figured what would be different since I'm already down here for the podcast recording. Let's go from the living room to the kitchen.
And
About
there's
2
better
feet away
lighting in
from
the
where I
kitchen.
filmed last time. Basically, I figured I'll just move 2 feet away and have better lighting this time, so the lighting doesn't suck for the
At
video.
one point, so every time an episode of ours gets 100 plus views, Ryan will show us a different room from the new house.
That'd actually be a good incentive. We get 100 plus views on YouTube. Maybe we get a good amount of views on Spotify. Or, we haven't mentioned this yet, we get money donated to us
Oh,
on
that's even
Ko-fi.
better. For every $100 donated.
For every $100 that we get on Ko-fi, I will show you guys a new room of the house. And if we get $1,000 donated on Ko-fi,
I will
do a
quit my
complete house
job.
tour. No, I need more money than that to maintain my income. I was more so thinking I'm going to do an entire house tour. I will show you guys everything in the house if we get $1,000 on Ko-fi.
That would be pretty
So-
epic for YouTube. Everybody on Spotify was just like, why would I want to just audio of a house tour?
Then we basically just killed our Spotify for that week.
Yeah.
So we're going to go full blown on YouTube.
It's just a half a minute long audio that says, guys, we just posted on YouTube and we're not going to post it here because it's a house
It's
tour.
like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you guys are getting an episode this week. Go to YouTube. But no, everyone, there is no real special reason why I'm filming here. I was just here hanging out this evening, and when it came time to do the podcast, I figured, why not show something a little different for the video once again? So that is the sad and boring truth.
Oh, man.
Sorry, guys. It's almost as disappointing to me as seeing Emilio's hair growing back, because now I feel left out here on the show.
Anyways, Ryan, what have you been up to this week?
Well, guys, since we didn't record yesterday, I may have had an additional day to bring any cool or exciting news here on the podcast, and I have none. The look of disappointment. The guys, once again, another boring truth here is that this week has been a pretty standard week for me, except for a few home restoration updates that I have. We have completely redone the ceiling, the
Wait
tiles
a
from that
minute.
black mold that I took down.
Wait
and
a
filled
minute,
in
wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me there's a house update with us?
Yes, there's a house update here.
Cue the
Yes.
intro, please.
Wow. Epic intro as always. But yes, guys, we have a house update. The ceiling tiles from the black mold that we took out are not completely filled and drilled in. The back door to the basement that I mentioned before is now fully in. And we spent pretty much the entirety of last night working on it, which is why we didn't record last night when Emilio messaged me. I was working here pretty much all evening. And today's been pretty busy for me. I've been running around running some errands and whatnot, preparing for the upcoming winter in my area by getting new winter treads on my car and all that usual fun stuff. Pretty boring adulting things, but that's just kind of what I've been up to. Mainly just a lot of work. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Fun as always. Now, what about you, Amelia? Did you get up to anything more exciting this week?
After we recorded the following day, I went to not one but two costume parties. So that was pretty cool.
That reminds me. Halloween is coming out the week that we're doing this episode, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. Yes, because when we record on Friday, it's going to be November 1st, so...
Yeah. So it'll be Halloween next Thursday, actually, when this is coming out.
This comes out on Monday, so...
This is technically our Halloween episode as well.
Guys, this is a Halloween episode. The first party I went to, they said it's not a Halloween party, it's a pirate theme party.
Oh gosh!
And everybody had to go disguised as a pirate, and so I went to I guess it's like our version of the dollar store.
I'm willing to bet the costume you bought there you went as Captain Sparkles. If you're
I couldn't find a freaking costume there. I thought, okay, I'll just get like the cheapest thing and something to figure it out, and I just gave up and went home. And I went without a costume. I was the first one to arrive, which was really embarrassing. That always sucks.
Wow.
And when I got there, obviously the host, she was wearing her costume, and as everybody else arrived, no one had a pirate costume.
That's the worst thing about it. I think it's more awkward for you to show up wearing a costume to a party where nobody else is wearing one than just showing up in your normal clothes with everybody else wearing a costume.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably more awkward because it's just like you're the only person who showed up like a moron wearing something completely different.
Yeah. And actually, the second party I went to that day. Well, I mean, the first party was more like a lunch. I mean, it was like I was there from 3 to 6 p.m.
Wow. Really long party, buddy. Wow.
You guys know we go crazy. Anyways,
absolutely.
But after we finished recording the last episode, my friend texted me and said, hey, do you want to go to this costume party? Costume is obligatory. And they will not let you in if you're not with a costume. And she said she went as a Marshmallow from the Ghostbusters movie, the one that they fight at the end.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very elaborate costume, and I was like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Anyways, so I have a black t-shirt, and I noticed I have a buzz cut, so I went as Sid from Toy Story.
I honestly thought, I saw that photo on your Instagram.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that you were going to say, I went as Ryan from when he worked at Dollar General when he was bald and wore a black shirt.
I mean, to be honest, what you wear.
Low effort costume or not, you're already wearing a costume even right now. Your normal face is so scary and ugly to kids, so you don't need to bother buying anything.
Ryan,
so right now, I think you're fine.
Ryan, you're so scary to kids, you have to teach how to prison. How about that? I got this old... it was an old piece of paper that had already something printed out on it, so I just flipped it, cut the skull shape, and used Scotch tape to stick it to my t-shirt. And that's how I showed up to the party, and it was really funny. Like, the host thought it was really funny, and I told him, well, I learned about this party yesterday, so I pretty much made my costume when I got home from the other party.
Definitely not last minute or anything.
I finished editing the last episode of the podcast, and as it was rendering, I was like, well, time to make a costume. I was there for a lot longer. I was there from 10 p.m. to 2 in the morning. So
Hell yeah! Now we're talking 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. 4 hours. I got
4
that time
hours.
down. Hell
And
yeah, man!
I'm invited to 2 other costume parties, but I don't know what I'm gonna get dressed as. I thought of
Emilio from
going as.
Smelly Cheese.
Oh, that's pretty good, but that one's kind of a underground reference. I'm already dressed as the boss from Dollar General.
Dollar General.
For context, everybody that doesn't know, because we're making a lot of jokes. He used to work at Dollar General.
I check out if you don't know that detail already, you're clearly not a fan of this podcast because that was in the first ever episode we talked about that. So come on, we know who the real viewers are. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that though too, because when we're talking about Halloween of all things, I've participated in this holiday a lot, especially from when I was a kid, like trick or treating, attending Halloween parties, a whole 9 yards. And it's finding kind of ironic that Emilio mentioned dressing up as a pirate, because the last time that I dressed up as a pirate, I scared the crap out of an old lady unintentionally when I was a young kid by accident.
And
When
I
was
wasn't even
younger,
wearing a costume.
yes, no, I had deliberately tried to poke my eye out for the eye patch and everything. No, when I was younger, when I was with my biological mom, when I was back living with her, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, me and some members of that side of my family went to a nursing home of all places to trick or treat, and I was wearing a pirate. I don't remember why we ended up going there, but obviously, when you're a kid, you love trick or treating. You get to dress up as your favorite characters, go out and get some free candy. You know, assuming they're not laced with anything. Be careful about that
Yo,
nowadays,
that's
guys.
crazy. The first time I went to the States, I asked. We made friends with my uncle's upstairs neighbor, and we were telling her we were just talking about like for some reason holidays, and me and my sister we said, oh, we love Halloween because you're trick or treating, and she told us, oh, my mom like she lets me go out trick or treating, but we have to throw out all the candy because we were worried it might be like laced with something.
Yep, that's some pretty dangerous shit, man. And honestly,
Is that like
my mom
something
kind
common in the States?
it's something that does come up here and there when it comes to trick or treating, and that obviously wasn't a concern when I went when I was a kid, because that old lady that
Well,
I
it was a
mentioned before,
nursery.
no,
No, what do you call it? It was an old folks home, right?
an old folks' home, yeah. Before we touch on the trick or treating dangers, to finish up that anecdote, I was there. I walked into the retirement home wearing the full blown pirate suit with like the earring and the eye patch and everything. An older lady who I assume probably had dementia or some kind of mental illness. She walked up to me, took one look, and said, "You scare me," and then was escorted off by a nurse. And my mom turned to me and said, "Yeah, we're leaving." And we never went back there to trick or treat ever again.
I mean,
So,
yeah, that was a bad idea.
yeah, it was honestly from the very beginning. But it's funny, yeah. So that was probably like one of the worst experiences I had when it came to trick or treating. Obviously, as a young kid, didn't fully understand it, but I didn't really have any other experiences, thankfully, where I scared somebody. But there is a serious risk, though, when it comes to trick or treating on the subject of that. Because here in the States, it doesn't happen all the time. But there are some people out there, for some reason, that hide things like razor blades or poison candy or something like that, and they just hand it out to people. A common thing that happened a few years back, a few states away from where I am, is that people were handing out razor blade apples, because apples
Oh,
are a
I've heard
common
of
thing
that.
that get used at. Yep, they're a common thing to get used at parties, like bobbing for apples or sometimes as candy. But some of these sick people will just hide razor blades and apples and give them out to kids. When you bite into it, you're
Yeah,
putting your
yeah.
mouth on a sharp razor blade, which is
Yeah, we don't have to get
unfortunately it's
graphic with
something
that
that.
one. I mean, did you ever
Well, it's just an example of something
like when
that
you were
does
a kid,
happen,
did anything like
unfortunately.
happen
But
to
yeah,
like one of your
kids
classmates maybe?
unfortunately are
Or like
subject to
someone you
this,
knew?
and it is a risk when it comes to trick or treating.
So what are you getting dressed up as this Halloween?
Ooh, that's a good question. I originally thought about going as Emilio, but there are a lot of issues with doing that for one reason or the other. For one, I need to actually grow some hair because that's part of the reason why I want you to go bald again, so it's easy to replicate the costume. Because I'm technically already dressing up as Emilio
You
right
can
now.
be me from 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. Like, hello, I'm 4 weeks past Emilio. I don't know what I'd do for an actual costume nowadays. I've actually thought about going to like conventions or events like that would dress up. But to be honest,
Cosplay.
maybe cosplay Walter White maybe from Breaking Bad. Maybe I could pull off. Like I've thought about that. Like I just got to get the fedora. I got to get like the dress shirt he wears. I don't know, like different rim glasses. I could
Maybe.
probably pull off, I think, a Heisenberg. If I get a costume, I'm seriously thinking Heisenberg because I honestly don't know what else I'd dress up as of right now. Like, what character would fit me otherwise? Peter Griffin from Family Guy? I'm not doing that. That has
You
crossed
can
my mind, though.
be Kingpin, you know.
Kingpin. Actually, that's not a bad idea
You
for
could just
Kingpin.
put on a suit.
See, I think at the very least we're giving the viewers some costume ideas potentially. At the very least.
I thought of going as Dr. Doofenshmirtz. All I need is a lab coat. But
And
no,
no, you need platypus though too. You need a Perry the Platypus with you.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz, I can't find a lab coat. Option number
What?
2 is Anger from Inside Out. Like, I thought I would just get a white shirt. I have a red tie, and I can just like, I don't know, make paper mache like some flames or something. But those are my ideas as fast Halloween costumes I'm thinking of.
Oh gosh. See, we got all the creative costume ideas.
You know
guys,
what the
after all.
costume is that I hate that I see a lot? Like,
Oh no.
people just wear like a jersey of a sports team, and they say,
yeah.
"What's your costume?" "Oh, I'm a player for the Lakers." I'm like, dude, you just happen to have a Lakers jersey. But no, because for example, at this party that I went to, there was these guys that showed up with they showed up with Colts and Dolphins jerseys. And they were like, "Oh, we're the Miami Dolphins. We're the Indianapolis Colts."
No.
Yeah, you guys didn't even try. You guys were probably watching the game at the bar and decided to come over
And you
to
got
the
like,
party.
dude, let's take off our normal shirts. We got the jerseys on underneath. Let's just crash this Halloween party. You know, we're football players. Look, if you're going the football player route, like NFL, the helmet, the actual
Oh
team
well,
jersey,
yeah. If you show up with
the cleats,
yeah. Okay, I get that one.
The-
Yeah.
yeah, like if you actually have like a helmet and stuff on, that's actual effort put into it.
If you look like you went to tailgate the game, that's not a costume.
No, it's not. That's the other half of it too, with people that go to these Halloween parties I've seen, where people they don't put any effort into a costume because they're not there for the actual costume party. They're just there to crash it, to drink to their heart's content, or eat somebody else's food.
I mean, there's sometimes when you can get away with it. For example, my friend Marca, last Halloween, he took an action figure with him to the party, and when people asked him, "What's your costume?" he said, "I'm a giant." And that was his costume.
See, that's the example of Mark. I'll give you a pass, but that is like a low. That's another example of a low effort costume combined with crashing a party.
That was the funniest thing I've ever. I mean, it was so funny that nobody cared.
Oh my! Here's something interesting from my retail days. So every year, at least at the Dollar General I worked at, and this kind of goes for the entire corporation, retail stores have a habit of putting out products several months early for the holidays. So when October rolls around for Halloween, and you would typically expect them to put it out at the beginning of the month, like all the costumes, the candy, the accessories, whatever. That's what's been out since like June. When they put these out, they get them in the inventory like 4 months early, put it out 3 months before Halloween starts, and then by the time the holiday rolls around, it's already discounted because it's been out for so long. With that being said, because they're out for so long, I've gotten to know the types of products that these types of stores carry. And there are some of the worst Halloween costumes I have ever seen packaged. Period. I remember there was once a costume that was sold at the store that said it was Elsa from Frozen, like with the dress, the blonde wig, and all that. When in reality, it wasn't. It was the completely wrong character. They illegally put the Disney branding on there to make it look official. And then the wig, there wasn't even a wig in there. It was just a crappy blue dress that was stuffed into a bag that was being sold. And these costumes are so low effort, and they advertise themselves as iconic characters, like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, when in reality, it ain't Jack Sparrow. Like, there's some of like the worst low effort costumes sold in stores. If you guys are gonna go buy them, don't buy them from these stores. Order them online or make them yourself.
It's
Honestly, you'll
probably
probably get
cheaper,
more.
right?
It probably would be cheaper. I mean, buying your own materials, I guess, can be kind of pricey, but buying a costume online like Amazon or eBay or something like that, that's also going to run you some money because there are some people who are dedicated to making like accurate costumes for Halloween, like cosplayers, for instance, and they cost a lot of money to make. So you're going to be paying a lot of money to buy them. So I guess making them yourself would probably be the best option. But don't go and buy them from like Walmart or something. They're not really worth it.
But if you don't know what to do with your money, you should donate it to us on Ko-fi. Link in the
Yes.
description.
Guys, I promise you, with the money that we get donated on Ko-fi, Emilio and I, if we get $100, we won't just do the house tour. We will dress up for the
As
next
Elsa.
episode, even though it's gonna, yeah, as Elsa from Frozen or some other character that we decide on. Even though it'll be after Halloween and no one's gonna care because it'll be November by that point. But we'll do it for you guys.
If you guys want to keep this show alive, please subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube. Follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or where you can also leave a 5-star review. To keep up with the show and all of its updates, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at topp.pod. That's at top.pod. Ryan, what is the special guest you promised?
Oh,
beginning
yes,
of the
guys.
episode?
The tease at the beginning of the episode. Editor, put in a drum roll here for the dramatic reveal. Allow me to present the special guest for the Terminally Online Pen Pals podcast, episode 11, Emilio from Smelly Cheese.
Holy crap!
So,
I can't
know,
believe
I've
it's
been trying
him.
Dude, I've been trying to get you on this podcast for a long time now. What is up? Awesome to have you revealed here at the very
Wow,
last
this is
second
awesome.
on the
Round of
episode.
applause. Well, I'm so sad that
Thanks for joining, man.
that this reveal was done so late into the episode.
Absolutely.
I wish we could have had more time with him, but that's it. That's what it's
But-
going to be it for today.
Thanks for your cameo, man. And if you guys, again, want to see more epic cameos like it, follow all the socials. And thanks for tuning in for this epic Halloween special. We'll see you guys next time.